May 10, 1940. 0425 hours. Fort Eben Emael, Belgium. Belgian Lieutenant Georges Gillis stood on the fortress roof, watching dawn break over the Meuse River. The fortress was silent, peaceful. Another routine morning. Nothing unusual, just another day of garrison duty. Boring, predictable, safe. Fort Eben Emael was impregnable. Everyone said so. Military analysts, engineers, commanders, newspapers. The fortress was a masterpiece of defensive engineering, built between 1931 and 1935. Cost, 120 million Belgian francs. Massive investment. State-of-art fortification, designed to stop any invasion. The specifications were extraordinary. The fortress covered 56 hectares. Underground complex, reinforced concrete, walls 3.5 meters thick, steel doors, blast-proof chambers, independent power generation, water supply, ammunition storage, everything needed for prolonged siege. The garrison was 1,200 men, well-trained, well-equipped, confident. The armament was formidable, 16 artillery cupolas, each housed massive guns, 120mm cannons, 75mm guns, anti-tank weapons, anti-aircraft batteries, interlocking fields of fire. Any approach was covered. Any attack could be repelled. The fortress controlled the Albert Canal. 3 critical bridges. Without capturing Eben Emael, German invasion couldn't proceed. Belgium's defenses depended on this fortress. Hold Eben Emael, delay Germans. Give time for French and British reinforcement. Simple strategy. Sound strategy. Proven strategy. Let's pause here for a moment. If you find value in stories like this, you can support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. After watching, leaving a brief comment, even a simple word, helps more than you might expect. Your support keeps these stories alive and visible. Thank you. Let's move on. Gillis believed this completely. Eben Emael couldn't fall. Physics prevented it. The walls were too thick, the guns too numerous, the position too strong. German artillery couldn't penetrate, infantry couldn't assault, tanks couldn't climb. The only approach was from north, across open ground, under constant fire. Suicidal, impossible. The Germans might try, they'd fail. Mathematics guaranteed it. But Gillis didn't know about Captain Walter Koch, or his plan, or his gliders, or what was about to happen. Koch was 31 years old, Wehrmacht paratrooper, Fallschirmjäger, elite soldier. He commanded Assault Group Koch, Sturmgruppe Koch, Special Operations Unit, trained for impossible missions. Their assignment, capture Eben Emael, capture the bridges, enable German invasion, do the impossible. The planning had taken 6 months. Koch studied the fortress, every detail, every weakness, every vulnerability. Traditional assault was impossible, everyone agreed. Artillery couldn't penetrate, infantry would be slaughtered, tanks couldn't reach, standard tactics wouldn't work, so Koch found non-standard tactic, attack from above. The idea was radical, revolutionary, insane. Land troops on the fortress roof, directly, bypassing defenses completely, use shaped charges, explosive penetrators, destroy gun cupolas from inside, disable artillery, create chaos, hold the roof until ground forces arrived. Simple concept, extraordinarily difficult execution. But how to reach the roof? Parachutes were obvious answer, but parachutes were inaccurate. Wind drift, unpredictable landing, troops scattered over wide area, not concentrated, not coordinated. Parachute assault would fail. Not enough soldiers landing precisely where needed. Not enough surprise. Too much warning. The fortress had anti-aircraft guns. Would shoot paratroopers from sky. Massacre. Disaster. Koch proposed gliders. DFS-230 assault gliders. Silent approach. Precise landing. Concentrated force. The glider could carry 10 soldiers. Pilot plus 9 assault troops. Land within meters of target. Deploy instantly. No sound, no warning, complete surprise. If it worked, if the pilots were skilled enough, if everything went perfectly, enormous ifs. But Koch believed it possible. The Luftwaffe was skeptical. Gliders are fragile. Wood and canvas. They'll crash. Kill your men before battle starts. Koch disagreed. Gliders are stealth, silent, invisible. We approach at night, dawn attack, land on roof before they know we're there. By the time they realize what's happening, we control their guns. What if anti-aircraft shoots you down? They won't. Gliders are silent. No engine noise, just wind. At night they're invisible. Dark shapes, no recognition. By the time they identify us, we've landed. This is insanity. This is innovation. Eben Emael cannot be taken conventionally, so we take it unconventionally. Gliders, shaped charges, surprise, speed. We win before they understand what's happening. The planning was meticulous. Koch built full-scale replica of Eben Emael, training facility near Hildesheim, Germany. Remote location, security perimeter. Nobody unauthorized allowed. The replica was exact. Concrete structures matching actual fortress dimensions, gun cupolas, observation posts, blast doors, everything positioned identically. Cost? 300,000 Reichsmarks. Enormous expense, but necessary. Perfect practice creates perfect performance. Approximate training creates approximate results. Koch demanded perfection. His men practiced assault repeatedly, day after day, week after week, month after month, 6 months of training, 1,800 practice runs. Each soldier executed the assault sequence minimum 200 times. Muscle memory, automatic response, no thinking required, just action. Glider lands, exit, deploy, place charge, detonate, move to next target. Timing was critical, each step measured, optimized, refined. The entire sequence from landing to first detonation, 45 seconds. Any longer and Belgians could respond, organize, counterattack. The gliders themselves were engineering marvels. DFS 230, Deutsche Forschungsanstalt für Segelflug 230, German Research Institute for Sailplane Flight Model 230, designed specifically for military assault, not sport gliding, not training. Combat. The specifications were optimized for this purpose. Length, 11.2 meters. Wingspan, 21.98 meters. Wing area, 41.3 square meters. Empty weight, 860 kilograms. Maximum takeoff weight, 2,100 kilograms. Useful load, 1,240 kilograms. This capacity allowed pilot plus 9 fully equipped soldiers. Total payload, approximately 1,000 kilograms. Weapons, ammunition, shaped charges. Everything needed for assault. The construction was simple. Wood frame, fabric covering, steel bracing at stress points, landing skid instead of wheels, single skid, center fuselage. Simple, durable, cheap to produce. Each glider cost approximately 15,000 Reichsmarks. Fraction of powered aircraft cost. Could be mass-produced. Rapidly. The Luftwaffe ordered 450 for initial production. Delivered in 18 months. Remarkable production speed. The aerodynamics were efficient. Glide ratio, 18:1. For every meter of altitude lost, glider traveled 18 meters forward. At release altitude of 2,000 meters, glider could travel 36 kilometers. Plenty of range for Eben Emael assault. The approach would be from Germany, across border. 30 kilometers flight. Easy, routine, no technical challenge. The landing characteristics were critical. Touchdown speed, 75 kilometers per hour. Ground roll, 30 to 50 meters depending on surface. The skid created friction, deceleration, no brakes, just friction and air resistance. Pilots controlled descent angle, final approach speed, touchdown point. Precision landing required exceptional skill. Error margin was meters, not hundreds of meters. Meters. Land 10 meters from target was acceptable. Land 50 meters away was failure. Too far to carry equipment. Too far to maintain surprise. Too far to succeed. Koch's pilots trained obsessively. They practiced approaches, hundreds of approaches, different wind conditions, different light, different weather. Dawn approaches specifically, because mission would launch at dawn. Visibility would be limited, light would be minimal, conditions would be challenging. They needed perfect technique, automatic responses, no thinking, just flying, feeling, instinct. The shaped charges were revolutionary technology. Holodung, hollow charge, also called cavity charge, high explosive charge, but with conical cavity, lined with copper. Physics was elegant but complex. Explosive detonated. Detonation wave collapsed copper lining, focused it, created jet. Copper plasma jet. Temperature, 3,000 degrees Celsius. Velocity, 7,000 meters per second. 7 kilometers per second. 25,200 kilometers per hour. Hypersonic, unstoppable. The jet physics were counterintuitive. Not kinetic penetration, not drilling, but fluid dynamics. The copper jet behaved like incompressible fluid. At those velocities, those temperatures, solid metal became fluid, penetrated target like water penetrating foam. The concrete, the steel, everything was fluid at hypersonic velocity. The jet carved through, created hole, penetrated deep, sometimes 3 meters penetration through reinforced concrete. Nothing could stop it. Nothing could deflect it. Perfect weapon against fortifications. Koch's men trained on charge placement. Angle mattered. Distance mattered. Precise positioning was critical. Charge too far from target reduced penetration. Charge at wrong angle dispersed jet. Wasted energy. Failed to penetrate. Each charge weighed 50 kilograms. Heavy. Awkward. Soldiers practiced carrying them, positioning them, setting timers, withdrawing to safety. Each step was rehearsed, timed, optimized. The entire sequence from arrival at target to detonation, 90 seconds. Any longer, and Belgians could interfere. Shoot them. Stop them. Mission would fail. The operational security was absolute. Nobody outside assault group knew details. Mission was classified. Codename, Granite. Plans were restricted. Training area was closed. Soldiers were isolated. No contact with outside, no letters home, no phone calls, nothing. Total information blackout. If Belgians learned about glider assault, they'd prepare. Place obstacles. Add anti-aircraft coverage. Mission would fail. Surprise was essential. Secrecy guaranteed surprise. May 9th, final briefing. Koch assembled his men, 78 soldiers, 9 11-man assault groups. Each group had specific targets, specific objectives, specific timing. Koch reviewed the plan. Detailed, comprehensive. Everybody understood their role, their timing, their backups. Everything was clear, rehearsed, known. Primary objectives, Koch explained. Destroy all gun cupolas, 16 total. Each assault group has specific targets. Use shaped charges, penetrate from above, kill crews, disable weapons. Secondary objectives, destroy observation posts, command bunker, communication systems. Tertiary objectives, hold the roof, repel counterattacks, maintain control until ground forces arrive. Expected time, 12 hours maximum. Questions? One soldier raised his hand. Feldwebel Heinz Wenzel, veteran, experienced. What if Belgians counterattack? We're 78 men. They're 1,200. If they organize, they can overwhelm us. They won't organize. We control the roof. We destroy their communications, their command, their weapons. They're underground, blind, confused, leaderless. We maintain initiative, keep them reactive, defensive. By the time they understand what's happening, ground forces arrive. Numbers don't matter. Speed matters. Surprise matters. We have both. What if gliders crash? Then those men are lost. But remaining gliders continue. Mission proceeds. We cannot abort for casualties. Too important. Eben Emael must fall. German invasion depends on it. We succeed or die trying. No middle option. The men understood, accepted. This was their purpose, their mission. Survival was secondary. Success was absolute. They would take Eben Emael, or die in the attempt. Simple equation, clear objective, no ambiguity. May 10th, 0300 hours. The gliders launched, towed by Ju-52 transport aircraft, 11 gliders, 78 men, plus pilots, flying northwest, toward Belgium, toward Eben Emael. The flight was 2 hours, low altitude, 500 meters, avoiding detection, using darkness. Surprise was everything. If Belgians detected them early, mission failed. Anti-aircraft would shoot them down. Massacre before landing. Everything depended on stealth. Silence. Timing. 0420 hours. The formation approached Eben Emael. Altitude, 2,000 meters. Still dark. Dawn not yet arrived. The Ju-52 transports released tow lines. Gliders separated. Free flight. Silent flight. Just wind-over wings. Quiet. Invisible. The pilots were experts. Best glider pilots in Luftwaffe. They'd trained for months. Knew every approach angle, every wind condition, every landing technique. Precision was their specialty. They would land within 10 meters of target, or die trying. The gliders descended. Silently. Ghostly. 10 shadows against dark sky. Approaching fortress. The pilots saw the roof. Massive flat surface, gun cupolas protruding, perfect landing area. They lined up final approach. Airspeed, 90 kilometers per hour. Descent rate, 2 meters per second. Touchdown in 30 seconds. The soldiers inside prepared, unbuckled, ready to deploy. Weapons checked, charges ready, adrenaline surging. This was it. History was happening. Now, 0425 hours. First glider landed. DFS 230 number 1. Coax glider. Touchdown was rough. Skids hit concrete. Sparks. Grinding noise. The glider slid 40 meters. Decelerated hard. Stopped. The exit ramp dropped. Soldiers poured out. 9 men. Combat equipment. Shaped charges. They moved instantly. No hesitation. Ran to nearest gun cupola. Placed charges. Set timers. Withdrew. Waited. The charge detonated. Massive explosion. Concrete shattered. Steel bent. The gun cupola was destroyed, penetrated from above. The weapon inside was disabled. Crew killed. Target eliminated. First objective complete. Elapsed time from landing, 47 seconds. Second glider landed. Third. Fourth. All within 90 seconds. Precision landing. Exactly as practiced. Soldiers deployed, attacked targets, gun cupolas, observation posts, command bunkers. The shaped charges were devastating. Each detonation disabled critical system. The fortress was being dismantled, from inside, from above. Direction the Belgians never anticipated, never prepared for. Impossible direction. Except it was happening. Reality defied expectations. Innovation trumped preparation. Lieutenant Gillis was still on roof. He saw gliders land. Didn't understand. Thought they were crashed aircraft. German bombers shot down. Falling debris. He ran toward first glider. To help. To rescue survivors. Instead saw German soldiers. Deploying. Attacking. He froze. Confused. What were German soldiers doing on the roof? How did they get here? Aircraft don't land on fortresses. Impossible. But happening. Reality contradicted understanding. Mind struggled to process. Failed. He drew his pistol, fired at Germans. They returned fire. Machine gun burst. Gillis dove for cover. Behind cupola. The Germans ignored him. Moved to next target. Placed charges. Detonated. Another explosion. Another gun disabled. They were systematic, efficient, professional. Each team knew their targets. Executed perfectly. No confusion, no hesitation. Just precise violence. Coordinated destruction. Gillis tried to sound alarm. Ran to emergency telephone. Interior communication system, connected to command center. He cranked handle. Nothing. Deadline. Communication cut. He tried different line. Same result. All communications disabled. The Germans had sabotaged them. First priority. Cut communications. Create confusion. Prevent coordination. Isolate defenders. Standard special operations doctrine. Executed perfectly. Inside the fortress, Belgian soldiers heard explosions, felt vibrations. Didn't understand. Artillery attack? Aerial bombing? What was happening? Commanders tried to assess. Called gun positions. No response. Called observation posts. No response. Everything was silent. Dead. Communication system destroyed. They were blind, deaf, isolated, underground, unable to respond, unable to coordinate, unable to fight back effectively, helpless. Koch moved across the roof, directing his men, coordinating attacks, prioritizing targets. The shaped charges were performing perfectly. Each charge destroyed its target, penetrated concrete, disabled weapons, killed crews. The fortress was being systematically dismantled, gun by gun, position by position. The Belgians couldn't respond, couldn't counterattack. They were underground, the Germans were above, controlled the surface, owned the roof, dominated the battlefield. 04045 hours, 20 minutes after landing. Koch counted results. 16 gun cupolas identified, 14 destroyed, 2 remaining. Observation posts, all destroyed. Command bunker, damaged but not destroyed. Communication systems, completely disabled. Casualties, 3 German soldiers wounded, none killed. Belgian casualties, estimated 200, most from shaped charge penetrations. Explosive jets killed everyone in target structures. Brutal, efficient, overwhelming. The Belgian garrison attempted counterattack. Soldiers emerged from underground tunnels, tried to reach roof. German assault teams were waiting. Machine guns, grenades. The tunnels became killing zones. Belgians retreated, regrouped, tried different approach. Same result. The Germans controlled access points, choke points. Every exit was covered. Every tunnel was death trap. The Belgians were trapped inside their own fortress, prisoners in underground complex, unable to fight, unable to escape, unable to surrender, just waiting, enduring, suffering. 600 hours. Dawn arrived. Full daylight. The situation became visible. Belgian reinforcements saw the gliders, saw German soldiers on fortress roof, saw the devastation. They were shocked, completely shocked. How had Germans landed troops on Eben Emael? Gliders? Impossible. Fortresses were impregnable, couldn't be assaulted from above. Physics prevented it. Engineering prevented it. Reality prevented it. Except reality had changed. Germans had changed it. Innovation had changed it. Allied commanders received reports. Initial reports were confused, contradictory. German troops on Eben Emael roof. Glider assault. Shaped charge weapons. None of it made sense. Gliders couldn't carry combat troops. Shaped charges didn't exist. This was impossible. Must be error. Misidentification. Panic. Confusion. Not reality. Reality was that Eben Emael was impregnable. Had to be impregnable. Strategic defense depended on it. The first report arrived at French High Command at 05:50 hours. Telegram from Belgian liaison officer. Eben Emael under air attack. Unusual circumstances. Troops observed on fortress roof. Request clarification. The duty officer read it. Didn't understand. Troops on roof? How? Parachute assault? But anti-aircraft would have destroyed parachutists. The report made no sense. He filed it. Marked, verify before dissemination. Bureaucratic delay, fatal delay. Second report arrived 0543 hours. More detailed, more specific. German gliders landed on Eben Emael, approximately 10 aircraft. Troops deployed immediately, attacked gun positions, explosions observed, multiple casualties, Fortress command not responding. Communications interrupted. This report was more concerning, more credible. Multiple witnesses, specific details. The duty officer forwarded it immediately. Priority classification. Command needed to know. General Maurice Gamelin, French Supreme Commander. Received report at 06:15 hours. Read it twice. Didn't believe it. Gliders on fortress roof? Impossible. Fortresses couldn't be assaulted from above. Physics prevented it. Military theory prevented it. Gamelin's entire career was based on defensive doctrine. Fortifications, static defense, Maginot Line. These concepts were fundamental, proven, unquestionable. If Eben Emael could fall to glider assault, then Maginot Line was vulnerable. French strategy was compromised. Everything was wrong. He called intelligence chief, General Maurice Gauchet. These reports about Eben Emael, glider assault, are they verified? Partially, mon général. Multiple sources confirm German troops on fortress roof. Method of arrival is unclear. Some reports mention gliders. Others mention parachutes. Some suggest bombers crashed on roof. Information is confused. Gliders cannot carry combat troops. The weight is impossible. The aerodynamics don't support it. This must be error. Our aviation experts agree. Gliders are training aircraft, sport aircraft, not combat aircraft. But the reports persist. Something unusual happened. We don't understand what. Find out, immediately. If Germans have developed airborne assault capability we don't know about, this changes everything. Strategic implications are enormous. Every fortification becomes vulnerable. Every static defense becomes obsolete. Find out what happened. Gauchet initiated investigation. Intelligence officers contacted Belgian sources, gathered information, compiled reports. The picture emerged slowly, partially, incompletely, but clear enough. Germans had used gliders, military gliders, purpose-built assault aircraft. They carried combat troops, equipment, weapons. They landed precisely on fortress roof, deployed troops immediately, used explosive charges, unknown type, extremely powerful, penetrated concrete from above, disabled fortifications, killed crews. The intelligence assessment was delivered May 11th. Comprehensive report, technical analysis, strategic implications. The conclusions were devastating. German military has developed specialized glider aircraft for combat assault, DFS 230 model, capacity, 10 troops plus equipment, silent approach, precision landing, tactical surprise, combined with new explosive technology, shaped charges, cavity charges, extreme penetration capability, can defeat any fortification. This combination represents revolutionary tactical development, changes fundamental assumptions about fortress warfare. Strategic implications. All fortifications are now vulnerable to vertical assault. Maginot Line, Belgian forts, coastal defenses, everything. Traditional fortification doctrine assumes defense from horizontal approaches. Artillery, infantry, armor. Vertical approach bypasses these defenses completely. Fortifications must now defend against aerial assault. This requires redesign, re-engineering, enormous cost, enormous time, neither available in current situation. Tactical implications. German forces can now insert troops behind defensive lines, on critical points, without warning. This eliminates depth in defense, makes rear areas vulnerable, requires allocation of reserves for anti-airborne operations, reduces forces available for frontline combat, defensive advantage significantly reduced, possibly eliminated. Recommended response: immediate development of counter-glider measures, anti-aircraft coverage of all critical positions, obstacles on potential landing zones, rapid response forces trained for anti-airborne combat, development of parallel airborne capability, procurement of gliders, training of assault troops. Timeline: 12 to 18 months minimum. German advantage persists until countermeasures operational. Gamelin read the report. Understood implications. Called War Council. May 12th. All senior commanders. He explained situation, showed evidence, presented analysis. The room was silent. Shocked. Everything they believed was wrong. Everything they prepared for was inadequate. Everything they trusted was compromised. The psychological impact was crushing. General Alphonse Georges spoke first. If fortifications are obsolete, what do we defend with? Mobile forces, armor, infantry, air power, traditional maneuver warfare, not static defense, not fortifications. The paradigm has shifted. We must adapt. But our entire strategy is based on Maginot Line, defensive warfare, attrition. We built infrastructure, trained forces, allocated resources. Everything assumes fortifications work. If they don't, we have no strategy. Then we develop new strategy, rapidly, or we lose the war. Simple choice, adapt or die. The adaptation was too slow, too little, too late. German invasion continued. Belgium fell, France fell. Defensive strategy collapsed, not just because of Eben Emael, but Eben Emael was symbol, proof that assumptions failed, that innovation won, that thinking differently mattered more than building stronger. The fortress mentality killed France, literally, metaphorically, completely. 08:30 hours. German ground forces reached Eben Emael. Extuit, Army Corps, heavy armor, artillery, infantry, thousands of soldiers. They linked with Koch's assault group, reinforced, resupplied, began systematic reduction of fortress. Artillery bombarded entrances, infantry cleared tunnels, engineers used explosives. The fortress was being conquered, room by room, tunnel by tunnel. The Belgian garrison resisted, bravely, desperately, hopelessly. They were outnumbered, outgunned, surrounded, demoralized. Their impregnable fortress had fallen in 4 hours. Their guns were destroyed. Their command was decimated. Their communications were cut. They fought because they were soldiers, because orders demanded it. But they knew the battle was lost. Eben Emael had fallen. May 11th, 11:30 hours. Belgian commander surrendered, Major Jean Jotrin. He emerged from command bunker, white flag, hands raised, defeated, humiliated, confused. "How did you do this?" he asked Koch. "How did you land troops on the roof?" "Gliders," Koch replied. "Silent approach, precision landing, shaped charges for your guns. Simple concept, difficult execution. But we trained. We prepared. We succeeded." Gliders? We didn't think gliders could carry combat troops. We didn't think roof assault was possible. We prepared for conventional attack. Artillery, infantry, armor. Not this. Not from above. We didn't anticipate. That's why we won. You prepared for expected threats. We created unexpected threat. Innovation defeats preparation, always. You built fortress to stop yesterday's war. We fought tomorrow's war, different paradigms. We won. Jotrand nodded. Accepted. You changed warfare. This will be studied, analyzed, copied. Everyone will learn from this. Good. That's progress. War evolves. Tactics evolve. Technology evolves. Stagnation loses. Innovation wins. Eben Emael proves it. The fortress had fallen in 30 hours, from first landing to final surrender. 30 hours. Strategic planners had estimated Eben Emael could hold 3 weeks, maybe longer. Long enough for Allied reinforcement, long enough to blunt German invasion, long enough to matter. Instead, 30 hours, less than 2 days. The strategic timeline collapsed. Belgian defenses collapsed. Allied strategy collapsed. Everything collapsed, because 78 men landed on a roof, used weapons nobody anticipated, fought battle nobody expected, won when everyone predicted they'd lose. The casualties were asymmetric. German losses, 6 killed, 20 wounded. Belgian losses, 23 killed, 59 wounded, 1,118 captured. The entire garrison. Intact fortress taken with minimal force, maximum effect. This was the future of warfare. special operations, precision strikes, tactical innovation, small units achieving strategic objectives, not mass, not artillery, not attrition, just speed, surprise, skill. Allied intelligence studied the assault, analyzed every detail, tried to understand. How had Germans achieved this? The gliders were key. Silent approach prevented warning. Precision landing concentrated force. Shaped charges defeated fortifications. Combination was devastating. No single element was revolutionary, but integration was brilliant. System thinking, combined arms, synergy. The whole exceeded sum of parts. The shaped charges especially shocked engineers. Allied fortification design assumed protection from artillery, bombs, conventional explosives. Nobody anticipated plasma jets. Nobody designed defenses against them. Shaped charges made every fortress obsolete. Instantly. Concrete thickness didn't matter. Steel doors didn't matter. Nothing could stop plasma jet. Temperature and velocity defeated everything. This changed defensive engineering forever. Fortifications now needed protection from above, from inside penetration, from unconventional approaches. Everything became vulnerable. Nothing was safe. The glider assault shocked military planners. Vertical envelopment, three-dimensional warfare, attacking from unexpected direction. This was new, revolutionary, terrifying. If Germans could land troops on fortress roofs, they could land troops anywhere, behind lines, on critical points, in unexpected places. Linear defenses became meaningless. Front lines became irrelevant. Everything was potentially vulnerable. Nowhere was safe. This psychological impact was enormous, greater than tactical impact. The idea that any position could be assaulted from above created uncertainty, paranoia, defensive mindset, exactly what attackers wanted. The Allies studied German glider tactics, attempted to develop countermeasures, anti-aircraft coverage of fortification roofs, obstacles on landing areas, rapid response forces for vertical assault. But fundamentally, the paradigm had shifted. Eben Emael proved vertical assault worked, proved fortifications were vulnerable, proved innovation defeated preparation. This lesson shaped entire war, airborne operations, parachute assaults, glider landings, all descended from Eben Emael, all validated by Eben Emael's fall. Koch had invented new form of warfare. Everyone copied it. Germans, Allies, everyone. Crete, Sicily, Normandy, Market Garden, Rhine crossing. Every major airborne operation traced lineage to Eben Emael, to one captain's crazy idea. Land on the roof, attack from above, do the impossible. But the psychological impact was greater than tactical legacy. Eben Emael had been impregnable. Everyone said so. Engineers, commanders, analysts, media, politicians. Everyone agreed. The fortress couldn't fall. Physics prevented it. Engineering prevented it. Military science prevented it. But it fell. In 30 hours, to 78 men. Using tactics nobody anticipated, this shattered assumptions, created doubt. If Eben Emael could fall, what else could fall? If impregnable wasn't impregnable, what was safe? The psychological foundation of defensive warfare crumbled. Confidence died. Uncertainty grew. This was Koch's greatest victory, not capturing fortress, but destroying belief in fortifications, making every defender doubt, making every commander question, making everyone realize nothing is impossible, everything is vulnerable. Innovation defeats everything. Koch was promoted, received Knight's Cross, became hero. German propaganda celebrated the assault. Glider troops capture impregnable fortress. Innovation defeats Belgium. German ingenuity triumphs. The story was everywhere. Newsreels, newspapers, radio broadcasts. The message was clear. German military was superior. German tactics were innovative. German victory was inevitable. Eben Emael proved it. Demoralized enemies? encouraged friends, shaped perceptions, won psychological war. But Koch was modest, deflected praise, emphasized his men, their training, their courage, their skill. I planned the assault, but they executed it, under fire, under pressure, under impossible conditions. They landed on roof while being shot at, placed charges while under attack, held position for 12 hours against larger force. They're the heroes. Not me. I just gave them plan. They made it work. His men disagreed. Captain Koch gave us impossible mission, then showed us how to make it possible. Training was perfect. Planning was perfect. Leadership was perfect. We succeeded because he prepared us, taught us, led us. Without Koch, we fail. With Koch, we win. Simple. After Eben Emael, Koch led more operations. Crete invasion, glider assault on Malem airfield, more innovation, more success, more victories. He became legendary, the glider captain, the fortress taker, the man who did impossible. His reputation grew. His methods were studied, his tactics were copied. He shaped airborne warfare, defined special operations, created template for vertical assault. Everything that followed built on his foundation, on his innovation, on his willingness to try impossible. He was killed July 1943. Tunisia. Ground combat. Not glider assault. Just infantry action. Random death. Meaningless death. Tactical engagement. Nothing special. Nothing heroic. Just killed. Age 34. 3 years after Eben Emael. 3 years of success. 3 years of legend. Then dead. Gone. Lost. War consumed him, like it consumed everyone. Heroes and cowards, legends and unknowns, everyone equal in death. His legacy survived. The glider assault doctrine, the vertical envelopment concept, the fortress vulnerability principle. These outlived him, shaped warfare for decades, influenced operations worldwide. Every paratrooper, every special operator, every commando. They inherited Koch's innovation, built on his foundation, extended his ideas, made them larger, broader, more comprehensive. What started with 78 men on fortress roof became armies dropping from sky, divisions landing behind lines, strategic vertical envelopment, global force projection, all traced back to Eben Emael, to one captain's idea, to gliders landing on roof. The Belgians never forgot. Eben Emael became symbol, not of strength, but of vulnerability, of obsolescence, of failed assumptions. The fortress still stands, preserved, museum, tourists visit, walk the tunnels, see the gun cupolas, examine the damage. The shaped charge penetrations are still visible, 70 years later. Holes in concrete, melted steel, proof of what happened, evidence that impossible occurred, physical reminder that innovation defeats everything, that assumptions kill, that preparation for yesterday's war loses tomorrow's battle. One display shows the gliders, DFS 230 replica, fragile aircraft, wood frame, canvas skin, looks like toy. But this toy conquered fortress. This fragile aircraft defeated concrete and steel. This unlikely weapon changed history. The contrast is striking. Educational. The lesson is clear. Appearance deceives. Assumptions mislead. Innovation surprises. Always. Another display quotes Jotrand, Belgian commander, his post-surrender statement. We prepared for conventional assault, artillery, infantry, armor. We built defenses to stop these threats. We trained for these scenarios. We were ready for expected attack. But Germans didn't attack conventionally. They attacked from above. With gliders, with shaped charges, with tactics we never anticipated. We lost because we prepared for wrong war. This is lesson of Eben Emael. Prepare for unexpected. Anticipate innovation. Assume enemy will surprise you, because they will. The museum ends with question. Posted on final wall. Big letters. Unavoidable. What are you preparing for? Yesterday's threat? Or tomorrow's? Eben Emael prepared for yesterday. Germans brought tomorrow. Who won? What's your fortress? What's your assumption? What's your vulnerability? Think carefully. Innovation is coming. Are you ready? Most visitors don't answer. Just read, think, leave. But the question stays with them, haunts them, challenges them. Because it's true. Everyone has fortress. Everyone has assumptions. Everyone prepares for expected threats, ignores unexpected ones, until the gliders land en route, until the shaped charges detonate, until the impossible happens. Then it's too late. The lesson is learned. But at cost. Unnecessary cost. Preventable cost. Cost of assuming. Cost of believing impregnable means anything. Cost of thinking innovation won't happen. Koch knew this, said it explicitly. Eben Emael wasn't special fortress. It was normal fortress. Good engineering, strong construction, competent garrison. Nothing unique. What made it vulnerable was assumption. Belgian assumption that vertical assault was impossible, that gliders couldn't carry combat troops, that shaped charges didn't exist. These assumptions killed them. Not German superiority, not Belgian weakness, just assumptions, wrong assumptions, deadly assumptions. The lesson isn't build better fortresses. The lesson is question your assumptions. Ask, what am I assuming? What am I not preparing for? What surprise could defeat me? Then prepare for surprises. Train for unexpected. Assume enemy will innovate, because they will. Innovation is constant. Adaptation is survival. Stagnation is death. These words became doctrine, not just German doctrine, Allied doctrine, universal doctrine, military theory, business strategy, everything. The Eben Emael principle: assume nothing is impossible, prepare for everything, question every assumption, anticipate innovation, adapt constantly. Never believe impregnable means safe. Never trust impossible means won't happen. Never assume preparedness without testing. Always question, always verify, always adapt. The Allied commanders who said, "Don't worry, the fortress is impregnable," were shocked. Completely shocked. When Germans landed en route, when shaped charges penetrated, when fortress fell in 30 hours, their assumptions shattered, their plans collapsed, their strategy failed. Not because they were stupid, not because they were weak, but because they assumed, they believed, they trusted. They were wrong. Assumptions were wrong. Beliefs were wrong. Trust was misplaced. Reality was different. Innovation was real. Impossible was possible. The shock was total. Complete. Devastating. What the Belgian officers said after surrender was simple, painful, true. We never thought they could land on the roof. We never anticipated shaped charges. We never expected this. We prepared for conventional war. They fought unconventional war. We lost before we understood what was happening. That's shock. That's defeat. That's lesson. The shock transformed to doctrine, changed warfare, created new assumptions, some good, some bad. Good. Question everything. Prepare for innovation. Assume enemy will surprise you. Bad. Assume every fortress is vulnerable. Trust nothing. Prepare for everything. Impossible balance. Resource constraints. Time constraints. Reality constraints. Can't prepare for everything. Must prioritize. Must choose. Must assume. The cycle continues. New assumptions, new innovations, new surprises, new shocks. Forever. That's warfare. That's competition. That's life. Assumptions enable. Assumptions constrain. Assumptions kill. Innovation survives. Innovation wins. Innovation shocks, always. The glider trick shocked everyone, changed everything, proved anything is possible, proved assumptions are dangerous, proved innovation defeats preparation. These lessons echo forever, because humans keep assuming, keep believing, keep trusting, until gliders land on their roof, until their fortress falls, until they're shocked. Again. Always. Forever. What Coke said remained true. They assumed we couldn't reach the roof. We reached it. They assumed fortresses were impregnable. They weren't. They assumed their assumptions were correct. They were shocked when reality disagreed. That's victory, not superior force, superior thinking, different thinking, unconventional thinking. That's what wins wars, not weapons, not soldiers, not factories, ideas, innovation, courage to try impossible. That wins. Always.